Welcome back to my 100% playthrough of Heretic on the Black Plague Possesses the difficulty, played through the Heretic plus Hexen re-release on the Kex Engine. We are doing all levels with a 1 star, and this is E1M8, the gateway to Hell's Maw. Let's begin. Let's start off by taking a left to grab the ethereal crossbow. And yes, you did hear a fire gargoyle. There's actually some few of them around here. But while we're here, let's kill them. Their regular counterparts can also perish. And if you're fortunate enough, all those undead warriors over there may throw some axes that will hit these gargoyles. Because boy, do they love throwing axes. It's like their thing, so... With that settled, we are going to go into this danger zone. And you'll probably take some damage from the lava, even if you do the nukage rhythm, because this is done with 16 ticks instead of 32. But anyways, we headed into the portal to ignore their barrage of attacks. And if you do get hit like I just did you see how many quartz blasts I picked up on the way there? Yeah, there's plenty to go around. And there's crystal vials too. And we're gonna go back there for the sole purpose of picking up some ammunition and crystal vials. And we did get a tome of power out of it as well. But just keep on dodging, and you should be good to go. Yeah, it's really hard to time compared to the classic nukage rhythm in Doom. We also came back to push this button, which opens up this door over yonder. And now we've done that, let's blow up all the pods. Now the problem is with these pods is that they very quickly respawn, so this is the real boss of the first episode, I'd say. But in each corner, with the flickering lights, it shows you that each one has a secret. So let's continue to deal with the boss of the first episode. The true boss in my eyes. Because you don't want to be anywhere near these while they're blowing up, right? Right. Now you could use the Ring of Invincibility if you so wish to want to survive this attack without getting hit. But where's the fun in that, honestly? Also, we can save it for this occasion. Look at these three guys. Here's what's going to happen. We have the Wings of Wrath. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use the Ring of Invincibility. And I'm going to use the Shadow Spear. And I'm just going to make a sort of U-turn. And even if I get hit, it's no big deal. Because these guys, these iron liches, are nothing. Especially since I'm invincible. Yes, I'm invincible and you're not. What shall you do about it? Nothing. There's another Wings of Wrath pickup. The Nitro Golems have emerged from the area where they came from. Were firing from earlier. But let's power up our Dragon Claw and finish those guys off. And you might have seen all of those projectiles firing from another enemy, the Disciples of the Sparrow. Yes, they're also here. So we'll be dealing with them too. Because there are a ton of them. And if you take any damage, it's fine because, looky here, another Ring of Invincibility. And odds are, you might even get a Morphobum from the Iron Liches. At least one of them might drop one. If not, it should be fine either way. But we can also grab this here Tome of Power. And you know what? Chicken? Just for the one guy. But yeah, as you can see, there's lots of items to go around. Perhaps too many. At least for me. Let's grab as much as we can, though, to assert our dominance over this level and the so-called bosses of this part, of this episode. Ridiculous. As you can see, there are so many Quartz Flask pickups, and there's another Ring of Invincibility that I can just put on right here and now. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but in the original Heretic, not in certain source ports, whenever you get damaged, even when you're invincible, your movement, like your mouse movement, your look, it kind of like pauses every time those fire bursts damage you. Yeah, but we got all the items. We took a little swim in the lava, both invincible and not. And we have finished the first episode, so let's push the button. And with that, we have finished Hell's Maw, or the gateway to Hell's Maw, as many people, including myself, like to call it, because the second episode is called Hell's Maw. Spoilers. But, yeah. For the final level of the first episode, it's relatively short, as you can see from the time. Even though I took my precious time fighting certain enemies like the disciples and ghostly golems and all that stuff. But even then, you can still do this level relatively quickly. I did also take my time fighting those undead warriors, just to be safe. Usually I do play a little recklessly and I go up with a crossbow to like fight them mano-a-mano pretty much. Sometimes I even try to melee them, but usually not. But aside from that, pretty straightforward. Again, I think the real boss of this level are those respawning pods in the area right before you fight the Iron Liches. And you saw that they fire 3 attacks. The ice attack, the fire attack, and the tornadoes. Now, it might have been hard to tell which was which if you're a first timer, because I was using the Ring of Invincibility, but we'll get more acquainted with those attacks in the second episode, so stay tuned for that. However, before we go any further, let's read the intermission screen, because this is the end of the episode. With the destruction of the Iron Liches and their minions, the last of the undead are cleared from this plane of existence. Those creatures had to come from somewhere, though. And you have the sneaky suspicion that the fiery portal of Hell's Maw opens onto their home dimension. To make sure that more undead, or even worse things, don't come through, you'll have to seal Hell's Maw from the other side. Of course, this means you may get stuck in a very unfriendly world, but no one ever said being a heretic was easy. And there we go. That is episode 1, City of the Damned, of Heretic, on Black Plague Possesses Thee. And what a ride it was, huh? Well, stay tuned for future endeavors where we go into the second episode, Hell's Maw. But until then, I will see you when I see you. So, see you.